Toyota, the GR Corolla. Is it GR Corolla or Corolla GR?
It's the GR Corolla.
The GR Corolla. And the one that we are in is all of Calvin's favorite things wrapped up literally in one package. It is a hot hatch.
In one piece.
In one piece. It is a hot hatch that has been wrapped in one piece livery. Is that what you call it?
I'd say so.
Livery. And it was taken to Comic-Con Cape Town. So first things first, what are your initial thoughts on this GR Corolla before we get into anything else?
My initial thoughts are, whoa, cool, that's dope, like a big old wrap. That's quite fun. I am a fan of anime. I am 48 years old, and I don't think I'm supposed to be such a big fan of anime, but I am. I've been this way since I was like 16, so that's a long time ago. And I mean, the anime I was watching then, very different from the stuff the kids are watching today, but it is what it is. Do like One Piece. It's not my favorite anime, but I mean, it is something we watch with the family, so it has quite a bit of a special meaning there. And it also reminds me about two of the most meaningful projects of mine from last year, when I filmed a bunch of cosplayers with a bunch of Toyota products, and one of the guys was in fact a One Piece. He was Monkey D. Luffy, interpretation of Monkey D. Luffy, and just generally like getting to meet these cosplaying folks, the community, the Comic-Con community. It's, you know, it's my people. And then it's the fact that it's, you know, wrapped onto this car in particular, which is one of the last of a dying breed, the hot hatchback, and arguably, debatably the hottest hatch right now. There's nothing quite like it, I'd say.
You mentioned that the hot hatch breed of cars is a dying breed. Why would you say that it's dropped off in the way that it has?
Well, I'd say, you know, it definitely has died down. If you think about, there was a time when almost it felt like every manufacturer had a hot hatch derivative. Whereas now, like, why? I don't know. I think people's needs have changed. I think we've gone SUV crazy. I think we've gone alt fuel, sort of hybrids and electric and so on, curious. And yeah, basically our needs have changed. And a hot hatch was fulfilling a want more than a need. Like, I want a hot hatch in my life, but I don't need a hot hatch in my life. So I'm happy to have one for like a week. Got it.
Would you also say, and I'm just gonna, before I take us back to this car in particular, would you say that hot hatches 20 years ago, even 15 or 10 years ago, were a lot more attainable, affordable? You could desire one and actually see yourself purchasing one because it didn't seem so far out of reach. Whereas hot hatches today, so there's the Golf R, and what's the Audi version?
RS3.
The RS3, thank you.
Well, you're just describing the four-wheel drive hot hatches. They're like freaking Uber hot hatches, like Uber hatches. This one, I would compare to those because it's four-wheel drive. But what's fascinating is that this got 3 cylinders. This is a 3-cylinder car, like your
1.63.
yeah, like your old Daihatsu Charade. It's got 3 cylinders, but
There was an hot hatch.
that's the only way they actually. There's only one standpoint you could compare those two cars, the fact they have 3 cylinders. But this has got 3 cylinders and it's doing like 225 kilowatts or something.
I'll tell you right now. I actually have the numbers here. This is a 210 kilowatt and 400 newton meters of torque car.
So if you look, that's why I say I'm happy to compare this to something like a Golf R as opposed to a Golf GTI because of that power. But I mean, I guess you'd really compare to a GTI. But, you know, it'll challenge an R most places.
to answer my question.
I can't remember what it was. I just got excited.
Do you think that hot hatches are dying out because they are not as affordable as they used to be?
Yes. My God, yes. I've owned hot hatches. I can't own this. This is $1 million, and all of these cars are $1 million and up now. I just don't think they're attainable. So I think the sunlight is going to be super harsh. My apologies.
Give me a second. Right now.
Oh, 100%. You know, the whole point of the hot hatch, or how it came to be and how it came to be successful, is that the hot hatch sort of stole the lunch of sports cars. Like, if you think there's a time when like Britain was producing a ton of sports cars, convertibles, roadsters, speedsters, and then along came the likes of the Mini Cooper and the GTI, and they outperformed them, especially going around corners and so on, handling like a go-kart, you know how it's like. And that's not the case anymore, because you might argue that these hot hatches and these super fast hatchbacks might be challenging the likes of the Porsche 911s and so on, but I'd argue that that is still a clear cut above what this is offering. This is a ton of fun, but it's not safe. Like, I've driven the Mini JCW, the electric version, in the UK, and it's very seductive. It's incredibly fast, but it lacks something. It lacks that emotion. It's just, you know, you think you want that immediate acceleration, but you actually don't. You want it to build up, and you want to feel that more visceral driving experience, and this very much still has it. You know, 3 cylinders means it's not 4, it's an odd number. It's odd, it's upbeat, it's a little bit staccato. It's not just that familiar 4-cylinder drone. It's something interesting. It's an interesting car. Besides being quick, it's interesting.
I agree, it's an interesting car. I also think the appeal of a hot hatch for me would be that it's a everyday car, and on those days where you want to get home really quickly or somewhere really quickly, assuming there's no traffic, you can do that safely. And also you can take it to the track if you want to. Not that anyone has fuel money for track days or anything, but it's your everyday car, but also like something that excites you when you are looking for some driving thrills, you know.
I'd say my interpretation of a hot hatch and yours aren't necessarily the same, but that's the appeal of a hot hatch. It is to its driver whatever the driver wants. You know, like, I wouldn't necessarily take this car to the track, but I would go and enjoy a mountain pass. And safety is, you know, there's the rules of the road safety, and then there's also what the driver's comfortable with and their skill level and so on. That's for you to determine. But maybe it's also flip side. Maybe it's a little bit good that it's prohibitive to buy a $1 million hatchback. Maybe it means that, you know, 15 years ago I could afford a hatchback and it made 140 kilowatts. But if it made 210 kilowatts like it does today, maybe I'd have wrapped it around a light bulb. I don't know. There's something to be said about cars being more expensive now and less attainable. I don't know. I'll stick a pin in that one and unpack it at a later date.
Thank you. I have my talking points here, or rather I have a few questions that I wanted to ask. You've actually covered a lot of it already, but I would like to know,
did you know that this part of the road is actually a racetrack? They had the first ever Cape Town hill climb the other day, so hence I had to put my foot down. Sorry, you were saying?
Yes, I really felt that. Do you have any last thoughts you'd like to share with the people out there about this car in particular, and just like your love of things like anime? Because let's just keep with the theme of this car. Why also it feels very apt to have a GR Corolla at an event like Comic-Con. Yeah, just any thoughts on that?
So I think Toyota and Comic-Con make a lot of sense without it sounding too much like marketing. There was a reason why when Comic-Con came around last year, and I knew that Toyota often wrapped some of their cars and left it in the what you call it, in the foyer. I approached them and said, look, man, these guys that come to these shows, these are proper enthusiasts. And, you know, you've got your whole racing, your Gran Turismo section. Then you got your anime guys that are all posing in front of the cars. Let's try to have a real relationship with these people and get to meet them and so on. And the community responded, Toyota responded, and they made their own little sub-community around this thing. So I think there's a willingness from both sides to play a little. And that's what it comes down to, like comic books, it's being playful, it's a little bit of escapism. And that's what a car meant to me when I was young as well, like escapism. The moment I was able to drive, I wasn't confined to my street anymore, and I was out there. And yeah, it's like great parity, a great relationship between the two. So it makes perfect sense to me. I love it.
A quick question. Who do you think is going to buy this car? Or who do you think should buy this car?
I think people that can afford it. It's $1 million. It's not a cheap car. It's not a cheap thrill. But it's properly fast. This is a fast car. And it's engaging. I said it before. It's versatile. Like really. What you put in is what you get out of this car. Like if you want to cruise around like now, this is dope. We're just cruising around. But where we're going on that road over there, you could put your foot down. It's very safe to do so. It's, you know, you got clear visibility. It's a mountain pass. And I don't mean go flat out. I mean you can let it sing. Let it chase the red line
or the Grand Line.
And get such a kick out of it. You know, the steering wheel is loaded with feedback. You can feel exactly where the wheels are, what they're doing. I'm just gonna actually play with it in a moment. I'm getting a little bit excited, but I think I've gone off topic. What was the question?
Who do you think will buy this car?
Oh, I think people who can afford it and appreciate a proper, quick product. And in this case, it's built, you know, by the Gazoo racing people. So whenever you see GR, it's not saying grr. It kind of is, but Gazoo racing, I mean, that's Toyota's go fast stuff. You know, you get a GR Yaris, a GR Corolla, the GR86, and the GR Supra. That is, you know, we used to have TRD back in the day. Now we've got GR, and they take no shortcuts in creating really emotive products that go quickly.